Aries, I hope you're doing well. Aries, this is a general reading for you, so there are no dates on these readings. So whenever the message finds you, if it resonates at that time, then it's absolutely fine. Please feel free to swap and reverse the storyline however you see fit. If I am interpreting one side as the Aries, but you're resonating much more with the other side, then that's absolutely fine. It's just easier for me to interpret it all from one perspective, otherwise it gets quite confusing. And Aries, please don't try and force the message to fit. If it is your message or you feel like you are truly resonating with it, you'll be able to apply it to a situation that you're going through right now, and you will know if it is a message for you. Obviously this is a general one, so it'll be quite collective. I do tend to get sort of general underlying messages with sort of specific little bits of information that pop in here and there, but hopefully there will be something in it for you. But as I said, please just run everything through your intuition. Always double check with yourself, and make sure that, you know, it's no projections or anything like that, and that it is something that is truly sort of fitting to your situation. So without further ado, Aries, we will get started. Which do you want to use first? Go with the fairies first. Pisces had the animal first, but we'll go with the fairies first. I'm feeling drawn to only use 2 decks today. Not quite sure why, but oh gosh, that was loads. Okay, that's a bit too many. Aries, Aries, Aries. What is that? 2. Ooh, nice, Aries. Okay. Give me 2 seconds, Aries. Sorry, Aries, I don't want to just jump the gun and try and deliver a message super fast, because I'd much rather take a moment or two just to actually tune into it to make sure that I'm giving you something that's actually worthwhile and accurate. Okay, so we have Penelope Dreamweaver, and then we have She of the Cruach, but She of the Cruach came up reversed. So first off, with the Dreamweaver card, right, this is all about manifesting on the level of imagination. Okay, so it's about actually formulating in your mind ideas, a game plan, a strategy in order to move forward to manifest something that you are imagining about, right? It's like you're creating it in your mind space by putting all of the energy in just by thinking about it. So it's very much up in the mind space currently. So there's something that you're trying to bring into fruition from the imaginal realms. You're trying to actually create it and manifest it in the present, in the physical, right? There's a goal that you're trying to achieve. There's something that you're trying to create. There's something that you're trying to birth into the world. But at the minute, it's very much in the stages of, it's very much, you're just starting to put fuel on the fire. With the She of the Cruach reverse, the She of the Cruach is the Divine Mother, right? It's the Divine Feminine. So it's all, it represents our very essence of intuition, our very essence of feeling in flow with the earth, feeling in flow with all of those sensitive elements of the feminine, right? The Divine Feminine. Gentleness, nurturing, patience, okay? So, Aries. We all know that Aries is not particularly the most patient sign, right? Aries is a fire starter. Aries is the first of the zodiac. Aries wants things to happen very, very quickly. And Aries has, not an issue, but Aries has a thing where they're very, very good at, you know, kickstarting, fire starting. What was I saying? You're just starting to put fuel on the fire. Aries are very, very good at fire starting, kickstarting projects, ideas, but they're not necessarily the best at taking them all the way to the end. I can completely relate to this. I'm terrible at starting things and not finishing them, so literally no shade. I completely understand this. So you have an incredible amount of power that you're putting into something right now, an incredible amount of imagination. And what you need to be very, very consciously aware of, Aries, is that the power of your mind is incredibly great, okay? So that all the time that you spend thinking about it, all the time that you spend putting into imagining what it is that you're trying to achieve, right, and manifesting that goal is very, very potent. Because Penelope Dreamweaver is almost like the master maker of imagination, the master maker. She's the one that can weave all the threads of thought and create a beautiful tapestry out of it, okay? So she's got all of the tools that she needs necessary in order to manifest that which she desires. But the She of the Karak reversed, it's almost like you're being asked, Aries, to remain very, very conscious that an empire is not built overnight. Is that the saying? Something like that. Like, you can't build an empire overnight. You know, things take a lot of hard work. Things take a lot of patience, okay? Because this is the divine feminine aspect, right? It's not the masculine aspect. You've got that down. You've got the fiery nature and the passion and the go-get energy. You've already got that nailed, right? But now it's asking, like, okay, you also need to remain very, very conscious of the feminine aspects of manifestation, the patience, the nurturing of a project, okay? You can take the She of the Karak, right, as Mother Earth, right? She nurtures us from birth through to death, and all through life, okay? Providing us oxygen, providing us food, providing us water, all of those things necessary for us to grow and develop, right? She provides. So it's like you need to be the mother to this project, or be the father to this project that you're trying to nurture. But you need to be very, very patient with it, very, very steady, allow a very gentle trickle of energy to go into it, all right? You don't want to just go in tsunami blazing and just absolutely burst the dam straight away, right? Because you can be very, very just like oomph. As soon as a project starts or an endeavor, you put so much energy into it, and it's almost like you tire yourselves out. You don't pace yourself. Okay, so this is almost a lesson of pacing now. It's like, okay, if you've done things in the past and you've been super enthusiastic at the start, but then never actually managed to finish things or go the full 9 yards with them, it might be because you're going in too hard and fast and you are not steadying your stream of energy, right? So then you just end up getting bored with something quite quickly. So here is a lesson of patience, steadiness, and pacing, Pisces, okay? You need to pace. If you don't pace, then this project is just going to end up like all the other ones, all right? It's going to end up falling off the wayside. You're not going to end up manifesting it, or it won't it will manifest, but it won't manifest to the potential that you want it to manifest to, right? So you need to pace yourself. You need to pace yourself. Make sure you don't spread yourself too thin at the start. And then momentum will naturally start picking up, okay? And then that's when you can start adapting your life necessary to putting a bit more time and energy into it, okay? Interesting. I want to get an animal spirit now, so bear with, Aries, bear with. Nope, too many. It's funny as well, like how a lot of cards are falling out when I'm shuffling, because that didn't happen in the Pisces reading. So it's almost like I was saying, you're putting so much in too quickly. It's like, no, I just want one card, not 10, Aries. It's the same kind of thing. It's like the cards are reflecting sort of your approach, right? The turtle. Oh, I wish these cards would focus. Okay, so the turtle's like the tortoise, right? There's no tortoise card in this deck. But we all know that the tortoise, right? We all know the story of the tortoise and the hare. I think that's the fable, isn't it? Where the tortoise wins the race because it paces himself. The hare just absolutely flies through, right? And he just ends up extending all of his energy, and I think he gets distracted with things or something like that. I think his ego is quite big. Not saying that's you, Aries, but you know, the fable goes that the hare thinks that he's going to win the race because he is the fastest, but actually it's the it's the tortoise that wins the race because it paces itself. He takes it steady, he takes it slow, and in the end he wins, right? So this is the sort of symbolism that's coming through, okay? So I know it says turtle energy, tortoise energy. but it's like you will so water represents your emotions, right? It represents energy because it's free flowing, okay? It's free flowing form. So it's the message of you need to take it slow with the amount of emotional time, the amount of energy that you're pouring into the project, because as we were saying before, you will end up burning yourself out, okay? So you need to just provide this very, very steady trickle, this very, very steady stream of manifestation, this steady stream of productivity, this steady stream of expression into whatever it is you're trying to manifest, because that is the way that you're going to achieve this. Slow and steady wins the race, Aries. Also, if you end up, okay, so I'll get a bit more specific. If you end up racing through things, you can often end up overlooking details, right, that are necessary. You end up overlooking details, you miss details, and then things can't manifest the way that you want them to, right? And that's what happened with the tortoise and the hare. I can't remember the full story, but it's something like I think the hare gets distracted, or he ends up missing out on important information or something like that, and so in the end he doesn't win. So there's a need for you to be very, very conscious of some of the finer details, okay? So yes, you've got to focus on all the bigger things at hand, but there's also some fine details that you really need to take care of at the same time, and you need to not overlook these. You need to make sure that you're very consciously aware of them, almost bring much more attention to them, because I'm seeing this like really big telescope. So bring much more attention to those finer details, Aries, because there might be something that you will miss or you will slip up on further down the line. Therefore, it is required of you to take note of these finer details necessary right now, okay, for the long-term success of whatever it is that you're actually trying to create out of this. Collective of pixies. Collective of pixies. One second, Aries. So there's something about that you're trying to manifest that is impacting a collective of people, right? It's impacting a greater whole. Therefore, it's very, very necessary, even more so, for you to take note of the finer details and of the finer information that you need to sort. Sorry, I'm getting a dead leg. Because it impacts not just you, it impacts others, okay? So even more so, you need to be very consciously aware of the finer details and to not overlook them. So this could be that you're a boss in a situation and you have a lot of people under you that you are, in charge of, and you're in charge of their livelihoods, which is very important right now. And it could be that you just need to be very conscious of the smaller things, or not the smaller things, right? So if we take an example of, say, someone who's a boss at work. So you run a factory, for example, and you're the boss, you've got a core team around you, and then you have the workers, right? The people who are sort of the pickers and, that make up the majority of the workforce. So as the boss, obviously you might be very consciously more engaged with your core team, the people who are surrounding you constantly, the people who you're interacting with on a daily basis, right? And then obviously as a pyramid goes, then your core team, they deal with the larger workforce at hand, and it goes on and on like that. So as an example to what I was saying about the need to take a bit more of a hands-on approach to the finer details, if we take that analogy, it's almost like Aries, if you're the boss, right, if you're the Emperor, which is your tarot card, Aries needs to start to become more conscious of how something is impacting the larger workforce. So where you might only be concerned normally with your core team, because that's just what your role fulfills, there's something about you needing to now take note of how something is impacting the collective below that, the larger workforce. You know, I don't know, say people might be becoming redundant, and then that means that, you know, they're going to lose their livelihoods. That's going to affect them at home, and how they can live and go about their life, and their family if they have family. But there's something about that you need to put focus on that part of the workforce that you necessarily wouldn't have particularly focused on before. So that's just an example, right? You can take that and apply that however it is necessary. But there's a need to be very consciously aware that your actions, or however you are creating this project, moving forward with this new business decision, it doesn't really feel very emotional. It feels very, very much sort of work, business, that kind of environment. There's something about whatever it is that you're moving forward with that is going to impact a lot more people than just yourself, and that is what you need to be very consciously aware of. So it's almost like, if you don't do it right, and if you don't take the necessary steps and look over the details that you need to look over, it will have an indirect impact on other people. So it has to be done right the first time. You have to steady yourself and be very patient and be very nurturing and not overlook any of the details, because that is how you create a successful business model, or that is how you create a successful product that's gonna help people, or however it applies, right? There is a need to steady yourself and be very, very patient with it, okay? And to be very analytical in how you approach it, okay? That's a bit of a shorter video than I usually do. It usually ends with about 20 minutes, but genuinely the message kind of feels like it wants to end there. So I'm just going to trust that whoever needed to hear that got the information that they needed. So Aries, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If there wasn't anything in here for you, then hopefully in the next one there will be. Aries, please take care of yourself, stay safe, and I hope you have a lovely day. Take care, easy. Take care, easy. Take care, Aries. Mwah. Bye.